Florida's housing market in 2025 is shifting, and it's not what most buyers expected. Prices are softening, builders are cutting deals, and for the first time in years, buyers finally have some real negotiating power. But if you don't know how to navigate this kind of market, you could miss your shot or lose a few $1,000s. In this video, I'm breaking down what is really happening in Florida's real estate market, from pricing and interest rates to buyer strategies that are actually working right now. If you're even thinking about buying a home here in Florida this year, this could be the most important 20 minutes you spend watching this video.
Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer, a full-time Florida realtor who helps buyers just like you make smart and strategic moves every day.
And when you're ready to talk strategy on your own situation, my contact is in the description down below and on screen here. I'd love to help you make that next move with confidence. With that being said, let's dive right in because your Florida dream home isn't going to buy itself. Okay, let's talk about what's really going on in the Florida housing market as of 2025. The good news? Well, the market is finally cooling off a bit, shifting more towards a buyer's market after the frenzied pace and seller's market that we've had the past few years. You might remember how intense 2021 is and 2022 is, even 2023. There were bidding wars, skyrocketing prices, and well, 2025 is a different story. Inventory is up, meaning you have more choices now than ever. Florida housing supply has now grown to 5.5 months supply in inventory. That is the highest level in over 2 years. More listings set for a longer period of time, and that gives you more breathing room to shop around. Prices are also leveling out. Florida's median single-family home price in March of 2025 was around $413,000, which is actually a slight 2% dip from the previous year. So while prices aren't crashing, they have backed off just a touch from their all-time high in 2024. Currently, mortgage rates are layering in the high 6% range, around 6.5 to 7% for a 30-year fixed mortgage. And yes, that is higher than the rock bottom 2 to 3% rates we saw a couple years back. But experts predict that rates will stay relatively steady throughout 2025. So there is no big dip on the horizon just as of yet. So if you're holding off for those 4% interest rates to magically reappear, you might be waiting for quite a while. My advice, well, if you're ready, don't let a 6% rate stop you. You can always refinance later if rates drop. So what does this kind of buyer's market mean for buyers like yourself? Well, it means more negotiating power. With more homes on the market and slight price declines, buyers aren't as pressured to pay over asking price or waive contingencies like before. Sellers know that they have to be realistic on pricing, and now more than ever, they maybe need to offer concessions to attract buyers. It's a refreshing change if you've been frustrated throughout the past few years. Florida is a big state, however, with micro markets such as Tampa, Orlando, Miami, Jacksonville, and each area has its own vibe. In some hot neighborhoods, well-priced homes still get multiple offers, but overall, now more than ever, you're going to have a better shot at negotiating and doing a calmer search than what you had during the past few years. Those were crazy times. So is 2025 a good time to buy a home in Florida? All right, that is the big question. Should you buy now or should you wait? And the answer isn't a one-size-fits-all scenario, but here's my professional take. 2025 is shaping up to be a pretty great time to buy a home here in Florida if it fits your personal situation. Right now, you're not racing 20 other buyers to every listing, and you can actually think before you bid. With less competition, you can negotiate better terms, whether that is a lower price, repair credits, or the seller paying some of the closing costs. Some folks will hesitate. They always will hesitate because they're worried about a housing crash. And let me address that head on. The data doesn't show a crash coming to Florida, and this kind of market is not at all similar to the one we saw back in the early 2000s. Economists predict a modest 2 to 3% home appreciation on average in 2025. So basically, prices might slightly tick up or stay fairly flat in many areas. So you're not likely to see home values absolutely nosediving anytime soon. If you can buy now and afford the payment of 6 to 7%, there's little sense of delaying for the what ifs. If rates dip, you always have that option of refinancing later on. Meanwhile, if you do buy that home, you'll be building equity. And if rates increase, then you'll be glad that you locked in when you did. Some lenders offer rate buy downs or temporary 2-1 buy down programs. And right now, builders are often giving incentives that help lower your interest rate as well. Real talk, the best time to buy is when you yourself are ready. If your job is stable, savings in the bank, you have a great home that you found and you absolutely love, Well, then don't let that fear of what if hold you back. You're buying a home to live your life, grow your family, start a home based business, enjoy a bigger backyard for your dog. It's not just an investment. If all the signs point to go in your personal life, 2025's market is going to be welcoming to buyers. Now, am I saying that everyone should buy a home right now this second? No, absolutely not. If you're not financially ready, do that first. If you're unsure about your job stability, maybe hold off until you can firm things up, and always have a solid home buying budget in place. I can help you figure out what you can comfortably afford after accounting for taxes, insurance, maintenance, and things like that. Sometimes a 15-minute chat with an experienced agent can bring a lot of clarity to whether now is a good time for you to buy. So, how do you actually take advantage of this shifting market as a buyer? Well, right now, it's all about strategy. And in 2025, the right approach can save you thousands of dollars. First, I would target homes that have been sitting on the market a little bit. If a listing has been active for 60, 70, 80 days or more, especially if it's vacant, the sellers are usually more motivated than they were when they first listed. Look for listings with price reductions. That's often a very strong signal that there's some room to negotiate, even after they reduce the price. But negotiating isn't just about getting a lower price. Sometimes the smartest move is to offer full price in exchange for something that saves you more money in the long run, like a brand new roof. For example, I recently helped a buyer who was interested in a home listed at 345,000. We were about to offer 335,000 or maybe a little less, thinking that we're going to save some money. But instead, we offered full price with one condition: a brand new roof had to be installed prior to closing. The seller agreed. And now, yes, the buyer's loan did increase by $10,000, and that raised their monthly mortgage payment slightly. But because they got a brand new roof, their homeowner's insurance premium dropped so much that their overall monthly payment actually went down by a couple $100. These were first-time homebuyers, so they really didn't have that extra $15,000 out of pocket to put a roof on after closing. Not only that, but now they have some peace of mind knowing that their roof is good for years to come. They were quite literally in tears after the sale, thanking me for helping them solve a very real problem that we have here in Florida in a very smart, strategic way. This kind of deal is possible because I have a licensed roofer that I work hand in hand with that I trust, someone who's willing to complete the work and get paid after closing. This means neither the buyer nor the seller have to come out of pocket for the roof. We all handled it in the contract and it worked out perfectly for everyone. These are the kind of strategies that don't show up in listing descriptions, and you need a full-time agent who understands that market and knows how to structure creative deals and offers and has the network to bring those solutions to life. Another powerful tip I'm going to give you is ask for seller concessions. Instead of negotiating a price down from 450 to 425, you can offer 450 and request $25,000 in seller credit. Then use that money to buy down your interest rate. That will lower your monthly payment more than a small discount on the purchase price will. And if you want to be less money out of pocket when you buy, then ask for a seller credit for closing costs. That way you only need to focus on having your down payment. You can also negotiate better terms. So if you want to stand out with a lower offer, my suggestion is pair it with great terms, like a short inspection period, a fast closing. You could pay cash. Overall, just make it as easy as possible for the seller to accept your lower offer. Sellers value certainty. So if you can give them clean terms and a fast closing, they may give you a better price in return. So no matter what your situation is, whether you're trying to keep more money in your pocket, maybe you're trying to lock a lower interest rate, or maybe just secure the best terms as possible, there's always going to be a strategic way to get what matters most to you. Now, let's talk about new construction because that might be the smartest move buyers are making in Florida. With home insurance costs climbing and resale prices still inflated in many areas, new builds offer something that a lot of buyers are looking for, and that is peace of mind. You're getting a brand new home with up-to-date codes, lower insurance costs, energy efficiency, and you're not expected to make any major repairs anytime soon with a new construction home. Plus, builders are more motivated right now than ever, and that means deals. During the real estate boom, builders across Florida ramped up construction. But in 2025, many builders are sitting on excess inventory and they need to sell that fast. That's created a window of opportunity where right now you can walk into a brand new home that's already built. Often they give better incentives on those because they want to sell those quickly. And so you can find a deal right now more than ever with new construction. Take Crystal Bay, for example, on Florida's East Coast. Right now, they're running a red tag event where you can lock in a 4.99% interest rate with FHA financing, 5.5% for conventional, and they're offering $25,000 for closing costs. This is just one of the many communities in Florida offering high incentives. So if you want to know what builders near you are offering similar or even better incentives, reach out to me and I'd gladly get that info to you. Now, let me quickly break down why interest rates matter so much. I've seen firsthand just how big of a difference a lower interest rate can make, and I'll share an example from my own experience to showcase why it's so important. When I built my home that is right behind me, mortgage rates were hovering around 7%. And by using the builder's preferred lender, I was able to get a 4.99% interest rate. That single decision saved me over $500 a month. And over the total 30 years of the loan, that saves me $160,000. That's a lot of money for month, and the lower monthly payment has helped me out tremendously. Let's put that into perspective. So let's say you're approved for a loan of $450,000 at 6.5%. Your monthly payment would be roughly $2,845. But at a 4.99% rate, you could afford a $530,000 home, and you would still have that same exact monthly payment of $2,845. That's over $80,000 more in home buying power simply by getting a better rate. That's exactly what happened to me when I bought my first home. I first was approved resale at 7% interest rate for $315,000, but thanks to the builder incentive and the discount in interest rate, I actually qualified with them up to $350,000. So long story short, I bought a brand new home for $343,000, and believe it or not, my monthly payment ended up being less than the $300,000 resale home that I originally put an offer on, and I lost that one out to a cash buyer. This is one of the most powerful and overlooked ways to stretch your buying power. You're not just getting more home for your money, but you're also getting it at a lower, more manageable monthly payment. And this doesn't just benefit primary home buyers. For investors, a reduced mortgage payment can make previously marginal rental properties start to actually cash flow. That could open up new markets and new income opportunities that weren't previously there at the 7% interest rate. If you're paying cash, you still can get the benefit as well. Many of these builders will let you apply that incentives towards upgrades. So think flooring, countertops, appliances, or you could even sometimes, depending on the builder, shave off the purchase price. So if you get $25,000 in incentives, that $450,000 home is $425,000 now. However, some builders don't allow that because it affects appraisal values of the other homes that they're selling. Builders like D.R. Horton, Meritage Homes, Holiday Home Builders, Miranda, K. Hovnanian, and DeVasta are all offering some aggressive incentives right now, especially on their quick move-in homes. These are brand new homes that are either already built or close to being finished, and they need to sell these homes before they start building other homes. So they want it sold ASAP. So if you don't want to wait the 6, 9, 12 months it takes for homes to be built, now is a great chance to move fast and get a great deal on a new construction home. You don't have to wait. And if you are considering buying a new home, ask these few important questions to the builder before you sign anything, and preferably reach out to me before. First, make sure to ask what's included in the base price and what's considered an upgrade. One thing to keep in mind is as you're walking through the model homes, a lot of times in the communities, those are chock full of upgrades. So what you see there often costs a lot of money, and the base home looks a lot more basic than the super upgraded model home. Just keep that in mind. Another great question to ask is, are there any incentives if I use your preferred lender like I did? And if so, what are the trade-offs if I don't use that lender? Also ask what's the estimated completion timeline and what happens if there are delays in that timeline. Ask what kind of warranties come with the home and for how long. Also ask what the HOA and the CDD fees are and what do they cover. What amenities will also be included in the community. Are they finished being built or are they still under construction and going to be added later? These are the kind of questions that can help you save thousands of dollars and avoid surprises when buying a new construction home. And here's the best part. Having an experienced realtor specializing in new construction, like myself, when buying a new construction home doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. The builder actually pays me. They love working with me because I bring them so many clients to build and buy in their community. I can walk you through the model homes, help you review contracts, and make sure you're getting the best deal possible. If you're even just starting to think about new construction, give me a call or message me. I'd love to help you navigate it the right way. And oftentimes, I even help pitch in for an inspection to be done before you close on your home. Now, let's shift over to the resale homes because this is where buyers are finally gaining some leverage again after getting beat up the past few years. We're seeing homes sit on the market a lot longer. Gone are the days of 20 offers in a weekend. And in many parts of Florida, the average time on market is over 70 days, which is a clear signal that sellers are no longer in full control. So, what does that mean for you? Well, it means this: if a home has been sitting on the market for 60 days or more, the seller is a lot more likely and open to negotiating. And if it's vacant, even better. That seller may be carrying two mortgages now and is ready to make a deal. I've personally seen listings that start at 515,000. Now they're down to 465,000 and they still have no offers or traction. That kind of price movement creates opportunity, especially if you're willing to be patient and strategic. Condos are even more negotiable with higher HOA fees and insurance premiums up right now. Demand has drastically softened in many areas. Some condominium complexes have dropped 7 to 10% in value. For buyers, that opens the door to not only a better price, but also maybe seller credits, like we talked about earlier, at closing. Or maybe you could even ask for the furniture to be included in the sale. The bottom line is this: sellers are starting to accept that today's buyer isn't going to overpay for a home. Homes that are not priced well, maybe they're not staged well, or maybe they're not move-in ready, well, those houses are going to sit on the market, and that gives you buying power. If you're a little open to work or just want to stretch your dollar, resale could be the move for you. Just make sure you got someone in your corner to help you spot the value and negotiate hard on your behalf. So if you've been browsing Zillow and you've wondered whether this house that you've been seeing for the last 60 days is a hidden gem or a money pit, well, shoot it out over my email and I'll give you my honest opinion. So if you're wondering where to look in Florida to find the biggest discounts and the most motivated sellers, here's what I'm seeing right now. There are specific cities in Florida where price cuts are happening in a big way. So if you're flexible on location, this can be a huge advantage for you. You might be able to get more house for your money or negotiate better terms simply because sellers in these markets specifically, are adjusting faster. For example, Cape Coral is leading the state in price reductions. Nearly 40% of all listings in Cape Coral have been marked down or price reduced. That's followed closely by Northport, where inventory has grown a lot and prices are down over 6% from last year. Now, if you're looking for affordability in growing areas, both of those areas are worth a look. However, Palm Bay is another strong option, located just south of Melbourne on the Space Coast. It does offer great values for single family homes, with many listings being under 350,000 and new construction still being priced very competitively. This is an area where I was able to get my aunt a 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom home for 320,000 and I was able to lock her in at 4.875%. That was just a few months ago. Tampa, Jacksonville, Orlando are also seeing a lot more price flexibility than they have in the past few years. These are major metros with strong job markets and a lot of variation in neighborhoods. So if you want access to the city life but still want a deal, I can help you zero in on those areas that have the best mix of value for your money and lifestyle that you're looking for. Even in traditionally expensive cities like Miami, Port St. Lucie, and even some parts of Florida's East Coast, we're seeing about one in every three listings showing some kind of price cut. That's a big shift from the last few years, and it's giving buyers more room to negotiate. But here's the thing: it's not just about getting a cheap home in an area that you're not going to like. The goal is to find an affordable home in an area that fits your lifestyle and what you're looking for. Okay, now let's talk about renting, because if you're currently paying over 2,000 or let's say 2,500 a month or more, it might be time to ask what that money is really doing for you. In many parts of Florida right now, that same monthly payment could be going towards a mortgage, building equity. It also helps lock your cost of living and it puts you on a path towards long-term financial stability. But instead, if you're renting, that money is gone each month. 100% of it is interest. Nothing's going towards principal. You're actually really just helping your landlord pay off their mortgage. And here's the thing: rent prices in Florida have continued to rise even as home prices have stabilized. That means while buyers are getting more negotiating power, renters are still getting hit with increases, often without warning and often without any equity. to show for it when they leave. And hey, I get it. I just bought this home. Buying a home can feel like a huge leap, especially if you've never done it before. But when you actually run the numbers, it's not as big as a reach as you might think. So, final question, is now a good time to buy in Florida? Well, if you're a serious buyer, absolutely. Between builder incentives and more negotiating power on resale homes and motivated sellers across the state, 2025 is giving buyers a unique window that we haven't seen in the past few years. If you're waiting for rates to drop, and let's say they do, competition will pick right back up, bidding wars will return, and negotiating power that you had right now is out the window. But right now, you can take your time, you can shop smart, and you can negotiate the kind of terms that you want to be used. Whether that's closing cost credits, a new roof before closing, or locking in a low 4.99% interest rate on a brand new home, those are all possible possibilities right now that we didn't have 2, 3 years ago. My biggest suggestion is whether it's me or another experienced realtor, you need someone in your corner that knows how to make these opportunities happen for you. I help people all the time navigate this market every day. I get phone calls every day. So I don't just open doors. I help you think strategically. I connect you with trusted professionals, and I look out for ways that can save you money. And whatever you're trying to do, I help navigate that process. If you're thinking about buying, even if it's a few months or a year out, let's talk. I'd love to help you figure out if now is the right time or what you need to do to get ready. Whether you want to explore some new construction options that we have here in Florida, or you need help finding the best deals in your price range, or if you just want a second opinion before making a big move here to Florida, I'm here for you. Call, give me a text, email me anytime. Anyway, guys, that is it for this video. If this video helped you at all, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out tremendously. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.